9, 8.
You're watching Experience Comic Culture and Sales. Streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
2, 1.
It's time for Minute to Skim It. And I guess 2 of my store logos. Sorry, yo. It's a cool rocket.
That's funny.
I know, it's so hilarious. But here's the real deal. It's because before the show, we haven't seen each other very much this week. So we'll try to catch up. And then we're like, oh crap, it's time to start. Point buttons.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody. I see Triple B. I see Berserker, not Berserker Castle. Crazy J-Man, is that you? Jay? No?
Nope.
Hey, crazy, amazing J-Man. I don't know who you are. That's an awesome name.
Welcome in, though.
Yeah. All right, we're going to do spoiler-free reviews. We're going to try to give you as much information as we can about the books that are coming out this week. And so you can run to your LCS and pull them, or call them and have them pull them and throw them into your pull box. Or if you just want to show up first thing in the morning and be at the windows and be like, open, open, open. I can't remember what commercial that is. Man, it's a classic commercial. You guys help me out. What's the open, open, open commercial?
Not Payless.
Something like that, though.
I know
right?
It's a department store, though. I remember that much.
Mm-hmm. Was it Mervyn's or something?
Maybe.
Mervyn's! EJB knows.
Nice.
Nostalgia. Absolute Power Man. Okay, so first scene in the Free Comic Book Day book, and then last week's kind of like ramp up to this. I highly recommend grabbing that up, by the way. It was a really good primer. And if you've been reading anything really in the DC universe, you will be well set up for this, especially the Batman books that have been introducing the character Failsafe. And if you've been reading Superman action comics, which introduced the House of Brainiac, including I think they call her Lady Brainiac, Amanda Waller has taken both Failsafe and Lady Brainiac and done crazy stuff. She has her eyes set on world domination / removing the world of all superpowered beings so that she can, rule it in peace. So she's gotten a bunch of parts of all of those storylines together in order to enact this plan. In this issue, she's totally hacked all of the world's news channels, agencies, and all those things, and is putting out her own agenda, AI deepfake style, and it has also figured out how to use these cool, I don't want to mess up too much for you guys, found a way to impact the ability of our superheroes to superhero. It's going to get real and real serious, y'all. Batman this week also ties into it. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But you don't have to go get the House of Brainiac to enjoy this story, but it certainly will enrich it. And you don't need to read the Failsafes, Chip Zdarsky, Batman stuff to enjoy this book, but also will help just enhance that. I love it when comic book companies make it pay off when you've been paying attention to other things, when they do big stories. So you're like, I'm the smartest person in the room. I also know why, there's a problem with Wonder Woman right now. Tom King's run. So You guys that are like real DC folk that are reading everything are going to really love this. And for people that have no idea what's going on in DC at all, you're still going to enjoy this. As long as you know who Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are, you'll be good.
Okay. So, this is another bloody, fun story in the barbaric universe. We have Owen Steele and Soren. They're captured by this clan. And they're put in this dungeon. And while there, Steele tells their captor, I'm going to invoke the right to fight your king for our freedom. And the captor's a little too excited by this. He's like, yeah, that's actually a fate worse than I was going to give you. So for those who don't know, Steele is a vampire. So he's a pretty strong, hard to kill kind of dude. Well, he goes to fight the king and he smells something off. And come to find out, the king is a werewolf. In fact, most of the clan are werewolves, or as I'm going to call them from now on, barbar wolves. That's what they're going to barbar.
I like it.
This book has some of the coolest transformations, and we're talking old school style flesh ripping from the human form to the wolf form. Just awesome transformations. Plus, just the banter between Axe and Soren when she's gagged is so funny. This book is so good. This is definitely a series that I will tell anybody. I recommend 1,000%. Pick up Barbaric. It's so fun.
Oh yeah. And if you want to go backwards, there's a cool tie-in series. Was it called Queen of Swords?
I think so. There's been a couple. I think it's Queen of Swords though.
Yeah, that one's a really cool one. All right, and here's the one I was talking about. This is Absolute Power tie-in Batman. This one is interesting because the first story in this book does not tie in, or at least not in a meaningful way that I can figure out. This one actually is a sub-story at the back of the book, which is the tie-in to the Absolute Power storyline. So don't read the first story and be like, well, I don't know why I spent money on this book. It doesn't tie into Absolute Power at all. Just know that Chip's going to make it pay off for you. And the story in the first here is actually really good. Really follows a character that I don't know that we've ever seen before. He just seems like a normal Joe. And his try to he is not a good guy, but he's trying to still have interactions with his son. So he makes a deal to do like that one last job trope. And that doesn't, it kind of makes it's way kind of like difficult. And it involves Batman showing up when he's trying to just like do his thing. So Batman always seems to show up when he shouldn't in this book, which it's like, how does he know to be everywhere? This poor guy. This is a great issue to jump in on. If you haven't been reading anything Batman, you don't need to know. There's nothing that this ties to as a storyline. So it's a great one-off if you wanted to just see what's going on in the Batman world. It's cool.
Okay, so this is going to be super quick because I will go on and on and on about this book. So our brave little knights, they get into a big battle, and Kanto and crew are on the way. Remember, Kanto in the issue before was trying to save a couple of his folks from the Emerald Tower against the wizard. So they're on their way there. And if this was a TV series, this one would be the episode, even though it's only issue 2. This would be the episode where the hero rides in and gives just this especially BA phrase and pose. Like, he rides in and he says something, and I'm looking at this thing and I was like, that's the moment. That's the hero moment right there. Near the end of this issue, though, it's so heartfelt, and it just cements the reason why I love Kanto so much. It tugs at your heartstrings, and it's just It's such a good book. It's such a good series. I love David Booher's stuff, but this honestly is my favorite thing that he writes. And I hope he never stops.
Okay. Spider-Man Rain 2 ties into another series called Spider-Man Rain that came out long ago. It had mixed reviews. People either liked it or they didn't. This is a very much older Spider-Man, old enough to be kind of like long bearded and not his normal spry self. So this is picking up where that one left off, where it kind of makes it sound like he was assumed dead, but he is not. And he returns. Yeah. And I will just say that there is a surprise interaction. I don't remember this character being in the first series, but maybe I'm wrong. That will be a big payoff for you if you like characters that have interacted with Spider-Man before and you want to see an old version of them. This is going to pay off for you big time. This one is a really cool idea. I like old man Spider-Man, so I like old man all of the characters really. I hope at some point we actually get old man Logan and old man Hawkeye and all of those storylines that were so good. I hope we get those at some point. So this one isn't tied to any of those, but it's really great. And the art is just a feast for the eyes. Even if you didn't like the storyline, the art is worth just eating up.
That cover gives me big Spawn vibes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see it.
Man, it's just, oh, goodness. You know, for a book called Death Stalker, there are definitely some funny bits in this book. It's not all doom and gloom. Like, I've found out after reading this is only a 3-issue run. I hope this doesn't stop, though. I hope they do. Well, here's 3, here's another 3, and I hope they keep going. I need to find number 1 because these 2 have been great.
I got it for you, Jay.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to come see you soon. It's been a while. But I went through every emotion while reading this issue. I laughed. I got mad. I was in disbelief in some points. The best way I can explain this is okay. This and Barbaric are kind of like the army of darkness of barbarian books,
Okay.
just with the bloodiness of Evil Dead. Yeah, because, you know, Evil Dead 1 and 2, while scary, quote unquote, the humor really comes in Army of Darkness. And that's kind of what it reminds me of a mix. Those 2 books remind me of a mix of those movies. And I don't know how much Slash was involved in this, but if this really was his idea, if he really did have a lot of input, my top hat's off to you, sir, because, brother, this was fantastic. Like, this is up there with the books that David DeSmalchin and Patton Oswalt are doing. It looks like it's just going to be a straight up barbarian thing, but it's so funny too. But it's brutal. It's funny and it's brutal. Great pickup. Go check this out. I am going to go see Miss Jen soon so I can pick this issue up.
To answer your question, John, no, you don't need to have read the first series because I did not. I think it came out during a time between my first and second stores. So it's in that weird gap between 97 and 2010. So I didn't get to read the first series. So this one, you can totally jump in. And I need to go back and find the old one now. So it was cool enough that I do feel like I want to. Werewolf by Night, Blood Hunt. This is a one-shot tie-in to the Blood Hunt storyline. This one is very entertaining. This one, sorry, I gotta look at the inside to make sure I'm not telling the tale of a different story here. Oh, please. This is what happens when you get old. You pre-order this Blood Hunt. The cover is really beautiful, right?
Yeah.
I read so many books this week. Oh, yes. So this starts with a group gathering pretty much at the Wild Dino Adventure Park in order to do some kind of crazy seance to call forth a demon who ends up taking over the body of some of the kids that's there, who is a longtime nemesis of Werewolf. And he's shown up. I don't even know why he's at the park, but it is a big battle between the two of them. And I think at the end of this, there's another big reveal character that pops out. I think this is the one that has like an extra story at the end that is important for the biggest vampire of all. We'll just say that. Is there a red band of Werewolf by Night? Okay, there is Triple B. I want to tell you guys this. So there is a red band of Werewolf by Night, but it is not out this week. It comes out next month. Ask me why, and I'll tell you. I will make the big question mark above my head because I don't know either. But that is the actual release date is next month. So don't be mean to your LCS. They're not lying to you. It's coming out some other time.
So this one will be quick too. I've never read Grindle. I've heard of it, but I've never actually read anything. The costume's dope though. I really dig the costume. And I could tell from this that this is kind of a violent character. And while I was kind of super lost on what was going on, it did its job. Because after I read this, I'm like, dude, now I got to research and find out everything I can about this character. Because it's a really, really dope character if you've never read any Grindle. This could be like a future state 2099 version of this character for all I know. Because it feels like I've seen this character set in modern times, and this one's set in the future. But like I would need a Grindle fan to tell me, if the character's always been futuristic or if this is just hey, here's a future version of it. But this is definitely worth checking out. Even for me, who knew nothing really outside of the name of Grindle. It's really short too. It feels like it's just lightning fast, but I thought it was really good. So
You know what's cool about Grindle as a character? Matt was supposed to have, I think, a Hulu show come out, and then COVID, so we're not getting it. But his stuff came out in like 3-issue mini stories that are every single one of them. You can find those for very inexpensive on any platform or at your LCS. They don't cost a lot. They don't have a high price point. But if you try to find graphic novels for them, it's impossible. It's like, I think someone posted the other day that the Grindle Volume 3 Part 1 is like, the only one listed is like for $999. It's $9,999 on Amazon. So don't try to get the trades unless you can find them on the rack at LCSs. You can just totally go and get the individual actual floppies for hardly anything. This mother's a piece of work.
That's right. That's a Middle European ancient history literature reference.
Okay. All right, Life of Wolverine. This is a very interesting book. So do you remember what Ed Piskor did? And I can't remember who did the Hulk version of it, where they took all of the history of a character, and instead of the way it came to us in individual books, which is kind of like not in sequential order for the timeline of a life, they took all of that information and gave it to us in kind of a sped up version, but in life sequential order. That's what this book is. So this is everything about Wolverine from the beginning to now in very like easy to understand, told storyline. So it doesn't feel like I'm just like throwing a bunch of panels at you and telling you a story. It's awesome. It's a perfect primer for if somebody that you're like, you gotta come see Deadpool with me. And they're like, I don't know who Wolverine is because I've been hiding under rocks. This is a perfect thing to buy for anyone in your life that is just like, you know what? Here's your new favorite character. And I want to tell you all about their life and why you should love them a bunch. This is really cool, y'all. Every once in a while they put out books like this, and I'm like, well, I hope I remember which one this is so I can, go back and buy it for friends. So this is the one. Big gold. Pew, pew.
Much to my detriment, folks, I am not a suck up. So I want you to know everything you're about to hear me say is how I actually feel. Okay? First off, I might be reading too much into it, but there seems to be a doctor making a strange cameo in the first couple of pages. Just
somebody else, the right universe.
somebody else sees it. Let me know what you think. But just saying. Bottom line here is David Pepos and team. They've made me a fan. It's beautifully written, and the experience needs to be a billion sub channels, so I can afford to buy every single piece of art from Nick that I can from this. The art is just, I wish I was an art person and could explain how mind-meltingly awesome this art is to me. I can't explain what this person does, but it is it's so beautiful. I love it. And, it tells the story as much as the words written in the panels. This is one of those books, and like I said, just one of those books, but it's one of those that it reminds me why I love comics in the first place. They transport you to like this other dimension where in this encapsulated moment, you have no other cares. There's no, real world troubles. You're just there in the moment. And that's exactly what this book did for me. And exactly why I'm just like over the moon about it. I can't stress how great a book about a character that I had nothing other than hearing the name of has turned me into a fan of said character. Now, and I know I'm rambling and I didn't really tell you anything about the book, but I will leave you with
a big thing.
I know. I will leave you with this though. Dear Robocore, you're next.
Oh.
Fantastic comic. Fantastic.
Okay, so it's a little inside baseball here. If you have been collecting the Miles Morales 2099 and what was the other? Was it Supreme Spider-Man? There was another one that they did. There was another whole run of 2099. There's supposed to be a through line big story that's happening here. I don't know how I can't tell you how I know such things. Just know that it will pay off for you if you're buying all of them and are following it. I'll also tell you that this one is one of those books that's going to have tie-in to other books that I reviewed this week that you're going to be like, how in the world did they do that? Nova 2099 follows this Nova character on a backwoods planet in which he shows up at the bar just to have a drink and then gets attacked. Shows him using unique powers. And it will reveal him to be another entire character that will make your head explode. This one's really cool, y'all. And you don't have to know anything. You don't have to know anything about Annihilation, which I didn't read that whole story because in order to find copies of that, even the omnibus will cost you all of your monies forever. But it's you can read this by itself. You don't have to know anything else. This one's really cool. The reveal is like, ah!
So, don't know much about Thundercats, but you dig the new series? You want to learn more?
Mhm.
This book is it. This in no way feels like a spin-off for spin-off's sake. This is only going to help elevate the main story while being a great story itself. This is set earlier than the events of the Thundercats main story going on right now. And I'm talking like they feel like teenage, maybe 20s, maybe early 20s. Chitara, Panthro, and Tigra, and a very, very young Lionel. There's a lot of good info, great story pacing, and a just rip your heart out, but in the sweetest of ways moment that just, I got to say that the Dynamite and the folks they're getting to work on these stories, y'all are firing on all cylinders. Like, I'm excited to see whatever y'all have coming next, what property Nick's able to get his hands on, because right now, kind of like Rumpelstiltskin, you're spinning that yarn into, what is it, thread into gold, golden thread, something like that. Yeah, folks, if you were, yes, I know Johnny Quest, and once again, there's if you've missed it, they have the little preview in this one too, and again, it for some reason it's not jarring. It doesn't like completely pull you out of the story. But super excited for it. If y'all were excited about Chitara, yeah, pick it up. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Thanks, Lorena, for that. So Lorena says they've read Thunder 5 and want to know more about Chitara. So that's perfect. Good feedback on the books. Free agents. I'm so sorry, Kurt. Man, Kurt, I'm gonna be the worst person ever for you. Free agents, if you like Cyberforce, will be your jam. Or if you like 90s books where it's all about the battle. I tune out if a book starts in a battle as a way to introduce characters, but doesn't tell you why they're battling or give you any real reason for liking them or figure out interactions between them until you get halfway through the book. I will, no lie, I checked out like 3 pages into the book just because that's my nature when I'm reading books. It's like, I need something, even if it's 3 words at the beginning of the book, like they did it for love or just you wait, rebellion or whatever. I need something. I don't need 24 pages of battle that introduces character. I can't do it myself, but the art is really cool. The characters look really cool. Like this guy looks like a rock monkey, or I don't know. They're cool characters, but this is not something I would add to my personal pull. Sorry, y'all.
I gotta have my fluff, y'all. I got to. I gotta have my little break between heaviness.
I heard some big things about this one. Let's see.
This was so bright and so fun, even if it centers around a death race. It's just there are a ton of characters. I have no clue who most of them are, but there are a ton of them. The story is just action-packed, cuckoo bananas crazy, and almost every panel. And I wrote this in my notes before Miss Jen said it, so I'm not copying her. Is a feast for your eyes.
Perfect.
I love the art style in these books. I'm always a big fan of it. And again, these stories are not. These stories aren't super heavy, but they aren't so light where you get bored. Perfect for adults or the younger ones in your life. Or even though he's not here, I'm going to brag on him a little bit. Like Ed. Ed donates books to children's hospitals and stuff like that. And not only is that awesome, but Ed and folks who do things like that, they deserve that recognition because they may not feel like it, but in the eyes of those kids, y'all are superheroes. So just want to shout people out that do the donation of books to people. That's super awesome. I love hearing about that. But this is just, if you're looking for light and fun and just something to break up from beheadings and werewolf transformations and stuff like that and vampires, this is a really good read. So,
and I the word is on the street. There's a brand new character in here, first appearance. And I want to say, Preston, see, this is why comic books are so awesome. We don't all have to like books for the same reason. The books are for somebody, right? It's perfect that there's like, yes, the battles. Oh, deep cut. This is a cool Claremont story that they throw in between different points of time from his run that they, like addresses a time period in which he didn't get to actually talk about. And this one kind of is like, I guess that is a regular thing for Wolverine and Sabertooth to meet every year and kill each other. One of them kills the other one. And then, they go about their business and then they do it again the next year. So this is that story. It's kind of cool. And he shows up.
Yeah. Shows up after I'm done, Brack. Maybe his ears were burning.
Yeah.
So I said earlier I read two books about barbarians and werewolves, which I'm now calling Barbarous. So how can you make Conan even more dangerous? You make him a Barbarous. It's everything you love about Conan, but with werewolves. It's brutal, it's bloody, it's violent, and it was skimmed because it was like 60-something pages. But that's only because there was a couple of backup stories in the back that look really cool. There was a Solomon Kane one, and then Conan fighting a lady that turns into a giant worm. I really dug this. I really did. But I do have one complaint about it. And that's mainly because it's done in black and white. And the only reason that is my complaint is because there are people in my life and people that I know, Ed is one of them, my wife is the other, that don't see black and white very well. So it's kind of like, I was super happy when they colorized Werewolf by Night. That way Jenna and Ed could watch it. And, I don't know how this would work in the comic world, but I wish that when people did black and white things, they would also do a color version just so everybody could be covered. But again, I don't know the cost on that. That's just a personal thing that I have. But I would tell you that outside of that, if you're a Conan fan, if you're a werewolf fan, this is actually a pretty cool read. It is. So you should go check this one out.
I could be wrong about this. I think the original run of those was in black and white. So I think they're just honoring the original format. Soultaker. Did we both read this one?
Yes.
Oh, this is cool. All right. All we know is that we meet this lady who's actually on the ceiling right here. She just seems like a normal, 60-something lady living her life, talking to her neighbor, petting the neighbor's dog, going to the airport or bus station or wherever and going to lockers and dropping off DNA in the form of a hair sample and a blood sample. It looks like she's been doing this for a while. We don't know how long. And things go sideways. Jay.
So basically what I got from this is she's an energy vampire, but definitely more fun than Colin Robinson from What We Do in the Shadows, and a lot scarier. Um, this was okay to me. Like it's a setup issue, letting you know what the character, who the character is, a little bit about what they're going through. I kind of hope that issue 2 puts a little more meat on the bone. I needed a little bit more, but it wasn't that bad. So
Reminds me a little bit of the setup for Old Guard.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's clearly is a longevity to her, but you don't know how long. So yes, I do. I was able. You guys are talking about the Conan. I think we were able to get it. I don't know which numbers I have still, but we did get it in. All right, Death Slinger. This is actually one of those cool things that happens every once in a while. So I like to let you guys have the heads up. Everybody knows that, specifically me for sure, and probably Jay and Jenna and those guys, that we're friendly to all creators, and we want to get everyone's work out there. So I occasionally get really nice letters and copies of books that are not anywhere close to being released yet, so that I can read them and review them, and so that you guys can put them on your polls if you think it's your jam. So this one is a book that doesn't arrive until 9/4, so you've got plenty of time. And it's by Shane Berryhill, Ben Perkins, and Keith Finch. And it is by a company called Cosmic Lion Productions. So it looks like it comes out through the Diamond catalog, so it's not something that's impossible to get. So this one is really cool. It has very clearly been set out as distinct chapters, in which each chapter kind of starts with the same kind of words that lead you into the rest of the chapter of the book that tell a tale about the Death Slinger. So it's, I think, from what I can tell, all from the point of view of this little girl. So she basically says, I'm going to give you the words so you can actually, so every single one starts with, I had another one of my special dreams. And what was this at this time, child? This is a birthday. A birthday. Whose birthday was it? And she says deaths. So it's all about this character. She kind of like the little girl who is not really only a little girl. She's a girl cyborg. So is her, I guess, dad, who looks like runs like a fix-it shop. So she, as a cyborg, is having visions of this character showing up. So think crazy cool robot assassin who has their own agenda. So really bloody, not for kids book. All the art is exactly like this, really kind of bright and vibrant. And I dug it. And it's, I don't know if they're releasing it as a graphic novel. They must be. But it says, bullets will fly and bodies will fall. And the name of the character is Jenny. So I like it. So anyway, this was a really great read. I like graphic novels. I don't mind things coming out as an OGN, so I think that's what this is. So if you like that kind of brutality, think about adding that to your box.
Okay. So this one was a rough one for me. Not because it wasn't good, but I think I'm just getting burnt out on multiverse stuff. Not just in comics, but I think after Deadpool and Wolverine, I hope we just chill with multiverse for just a little bit. It's Vampy, who is now in Technicolor. She earned her Technicolor from issue 1. Versus a Vampy who works for an evil queen. My main takeaway from this one was weird bug creatures and Moctopi. What are Moctopi? What are Moctopi? That's the name I gave the monkey octopus creatures in this.
Look at you, just naming things.
The hybrids in this book are just, it's crazy. Like it's crazy when I saw it. I had to look really hard. I was like, wow, that's like a nightmare, but cool at the same time. But look, I'm not the biggest Vampirella fan to begin with. I lean more towards like the Sweetie Candy Vigilante and the Disney and Hanna-Barbera stuff that they've been doing. This is hashtag not that bad though. I would say though, if Rich or Des from the Geek Chat were reviewing this book, watch them for a better review. But we don't have any shows this Thursday, so you can't. And I don't think Triple B has done this one yet. But see, that's why we need Triple B to do a review of this. If you're a Vampirella fan, pick this up. It's not a bad book at all, but it's just I'm not the target for it, I guess. Plus adding the multiverse stuff in, but it was enough to where I wasn't like, man, I got to dredge through reading this or anything. Like it was fine, just wasn't like the best thing that I read this week. So.
All the things we didn't do last night. This is a crazy heist book. I don't know if this is supposed to be a one shot. It doesn't have a number on it, so maybe it is supposed to be a one shot. Kind of wraps up this story. So this is about a woman. That woman there works, I think, at like a art gallery. It might be a museum. And she's the person like sets up the displays. It's clear from her actions that she's not up to 100% above board, whatever. And she kind of runs into this guy at the coffee shop who spills all over her shirt, which she makes comment of like, well, this is a great excuse. So she actually uses the excuse to go down into the basement of the museum or wherever to go and change her shirt and, get away with stuff. It's a really cool because it's like one of these weird love stories where it's like they just use each other for like alibi or whatever they're up to, because he's a hitman. It's a fun convoluted. It's just like what you expect from Maria. There's gonna be ooh la la scenes, so there's naked stuff in there, but you'll understand why this storyline is that. Because it's a lot of her stories are the same, maybe, but this one's just a one shot, so you can just enjoy it for its shenanigans. It's really cool. Is that all of that? What the heck, man? We're lightning fast today.
I read like 3 times the amount of books I usually do too. It's crazy.
I put so many back because I was like, no, Badgin. All right, everybody. This is a really cool week. There are tons more tie-ins to Blood Hunt than we could read, including there is a brand new Psylocke #1. I don't know if you guys remember, but there haven't been a lot of Psylocke standalone series, and the only one I can think of is like a 4-issue series that you have to pay, like your firstborn to buy. And then I say I've gotten lots of good feedback from my customers that they are loving the Blood Hunt everything. We're done with the collecting of the Scotty Young covers tied into the Cool Marvels book. So your pocketbook will be like this week. And so you get to have a chance to jump into Absolute Power if you wanted to try something DC. You haven't been doing that before. No Psylocke since Fallen Angels, I know. But there's a lot of opportunities for great books this week. Try something new. I'll challenge you guys to try one new book this week that you just look on the stands and be like, sure, why not? We'll try this one time.
Well, and check the Experience YouTube channel about noon Eastern tomorrow, for my incredibly fast, incredibly brief, incredibly brutal review of a book that is essentially Apocalypse Now meets How to Piss Off Your Dragon.
I like it. What's the name of the book?
Beyond the Pale #2.
There you go, Beyond the Pale. We're going to try to start bringing you just single shot reviews for stuff. This is Kyle's brainchild, so I'm excited to do that. What's the one book this week we'd recommend? What I would not be able to live without? Absolute Power.
Oh goodness!
Because I think it's got big storyline potential. So
I'm torn between Space Ghost and Chitaro. But Space Ghost just kind of inches the win there.
Oh, perfect. Another reminder for everybody. Everybody here, I believe, has an LCS, and they're supporting their LCSs. Thank you so much for doing that, especially during this time when finances are tight for everybody. We super appreciate it. We understand that it's you guys are giving up a little bit by spending money at the shops, but it's super appreciated. If you need to find a shop, like let's say you're going on vacay, just you can use the cool site that's part of the Diamond Network, which is the comic shop. Sorry, the comic.
Miss Jen hasn't had to do this in a long time. If you're traveling for the 4th of July and are looking for a comic shop nearby to you, visit comicshoplocator.com. Comicshoplocator.com will tell you where there are comic shops nearby to the numbers of the area where you are. Call them, find out what their holiday hours are. If they're serving hot dogs on the 4th of July, maybe go visit them and eat their hot dogs. I don't know. I used to do that with my store. I don't know if other people do it. It was kind of a pain in the neck, but it was fun. So make sure you check and see what hours they're there, and then go in and buy some things. If you spend $5 extra at a comic book shop that they weren't expecting, then that changes everybody's lives in a good way. So please, please, please visit comicshoplocator.com to find comic shops nearby to wherever you may be.
I love that Kyle comes on and says his favorite is Lester of the Lesser Gods from the back issue pins. All right, everybody. We love y'all. Thank you so much for coming. If it isn't too much, if you guys could just share out the show, tell your friends about it so that you can have more and more people in your friend group that want to talk comic books with you all the time. I mean, what could be a better thing, right?
Always a blast.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, guys. We'll see you guys next week for Minutes to Skim It.
Twitch. It's not just what happens when you have too many energy drinks anymore. Check out our content over there, too.